No, this is not Apple. This is Samsung Tab A7. You also have it? How much did it cost you? When did you get that?
कुछ सर
Yes, ma'am.
अभी आपका 10th में लेक्चर आएगा ना?
No. 10th I am done, ma'am. Now I'm in 9th.
सर हमेशा आपको 10th में 7:30 को लेना है लेक्चर, हमेशा ऐसा ही करते हैं ना?
हाँ, but this time I think the sir was already there in grade 9 when I was on the floors.
बट मेक श्योर करना कि ऐसा ही रहे क्योंकि एक बच्चा है अभी इंग्लिश में है।
कोई बात नहीं, डोंट वरी, ठीक है ना? पर मैंने देखा तो ये जो सर थे, यस सर ऑलरेडी 9th में थे। Okay, dear students, can you hear me? Rashmi,
Yes,
Aryan,
sir.
Priya, Meshwa, Angel, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Very good. So I want everyone's camera to be turned on. Hurry up. So today we are going to start with the legend of Northland, right? Remember last time I told you. So are you all up with that copy in your hand, the legend of Northland?
Sir, can you share the PDF as I'm not having textbook with me right now?
Very good. I have not got my laptop today, but don't worry. You just pay attention on the explanation, right?
Okay,
Sir,
sir.
which chapter?
It's not the chapter, my dear. It's a poem. Okay.
Ma'am, मतलब कि which textbook? Humans or Beehive?
Very good. Okay.
Sir, can you repeat?
A Legend of Northland. It is from Beehive. Okay, and it is in unit number unit 5, page number 65. Okay, got it, everyone?
Yes.
Fine. So I think everyone is ready, right? I'll start with the explanation. See, before we begin with this poem, a legend means a story. Okay, a legend means a story. Okay, so this is basically the story where there are two characters which are highlighted. First is the saint and second is the lady. Okay, and there is a purpose.
Sorry, you are freezed and not audible. Yes, sir.
Now it is audible clearly.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so let me know if you find any kind of technical glitch, right?
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. This poem narrates the legend of an old lady who angered Saint Peter because of her greed. Okay, now this is an old story where we find that there is this old lady and unintentionally, I repeat the word unintentionally, she angers Saint Peter. For what reasons? Because of her greed. उसके लोभ लालच की वजह से वो सेंट पीटर को गुस्सा दिला देती है. For what reasons? We'll come to know when we'll start reading this poem. So first of all, I will read the entire poem at first, and then we will start learning stanza wise. Okay? So pay attention. Away in the Northland, where the hours of the day are few, and the nights are so long in winter that they cannot sleep them through, where they harness the swift reander to the sledges when it snows, and the children look like bear's cubs in their funny furry clothes. They tell them a curious story. I don't believe it is true, and yet you may learn a lesson if I the tale to you. Once when the good Saint Peter lived in the world below and walked about it, preaching just as he did, you know. He came to the door of a cottage and traveling round the earth, where a little woman was baking cakes and baking them on the hearth. And being faint with fasting, for the day was almost done, he asked for her from her stone of cakes to give her a single one. So she made a very little cake, but as it baking lay, she looked at it and thought it seemed too large to give away. Therefore, she needed another, and still a smaller one. but it looked, when she turned it over, as large as the first had done. Then she looked, then she took a tiny scrap of duff and rolled it flat and baked it thin as a wafer, but she couldn't part with that. For she said, my cakes that seem too small when I eat them myself are yet too large to give away. So she put them on the shelf. Then the good Saint Peter grew angry, for he was hungry and faint, and surely such a woman was enough to provoke a saint. And he said, you are far too selfish to dwell in a human form, to have both food and shelter, and fire to keep you warm. Now you shall build as the birds do, and shall get you scanty food by boring and boring and boring all day in the hard dry wood. Then up she went through the chimney, never speaking a word, and out of the top flew a woodpecker, for she was changed to a bird. She had a scarlet cap on her head, and that was left the same, but all the rest of her clothes were burnt, black as a coal in the flame. And every country school boy has seen her in the wood, where she lives in the trees till this very day, boring and boring for food. It's by Fob Carey. All right. So it's a ballad. Ballad is a song narrating a story in short stanzas. Ballads are a part of folk culture or popular culture and are passed on orally from one generation to the next. It cannot be expressed in a written form, probably on generation to next, but when it is narrated and when it is sung, probably the generation next comes to know about this. Okay, so now let us start learning it in detail. Okay, first stanza, away, away in the Northland. So far away at the place called Northland, where the hours of the day are very few, where the daylight is very less. The hours of the day are very less, where it gets night very soon. And the nights are so long in winter. The nights are found to be quite long in winter. Usually you see in winter, the nights are short here in India. Okay. The moment you sleep, you feel like you just woke up. Okay. So, but here it was like, the winter, the hours were quite long that they cannot sleep them through. मतलब सोने के बाद भी ऐसा लगता है कि अभी भी रात पूरी हुई नहीं है. Where they harness the swift reender to the sledges when it snows. You know reender, right? Those snow deers, which they use to travel from one place to the another exclusively when it is heavy snow. You know, you've seen that, you might have seen in the movies, right? Around, they harnesses reenders to travel. Like usually we have seen Santa Claus traveling on it. You know, especially Christmas, right?
Reindeer.
Around 5 to 6 reenders. Usually it's a pair of either 4 or 6 or 8. Okay, it cannot be, I think, odd, right? Odd is 1, 3, or even. What is it? 1, 3, 5, 7, 9 is even or odd? Odd number or odd? So you'll never find this pair in odd numbers. You'll always find it in, or either it will be 2, 4, 6, or 8. Okay, many times it is also 10, but then it is too long. Okay, so yeah, so you find this kind of moments, and the children look like bear cubs in their funny furry clothes. You know, the children are so fluffy. You know, their chicks are kind of very reddish, because the place where it is too cold, too snow, then the chicks are found to be very reddish in color. Okay, or many times it is also in pinkish color. So the the tiny children, they are more like looking like the bear cubs. Okay, in their funny and furry clothes, because ठंडी ज़्यादा होती है, छोटे-छोटे बच्चों को ज़्यादा जैकेट पहना देते हैं, and they look like they look like penguins. Yeah, furry. This is fur. Ruante, fur. German shepherds have fur. Fur means ruante. So जैसे funny and furry clothes. Jackets ऐसे होते हैं ना fur वाले. Russian jackets, if we'll see, they are more than furry in nature. Okay, they tell them a curious story. So the kids have been told this curious story. I don't believe it is true so far. As a poet, I don't feel the story is true. And yet you may learn a lesson, but there is a lesson to learn. Whether the story is true or not, that is optional. But there is one thing which is so common, one thing which is so sure, that you will end up learning a lesson out of it. Okay? If I tell the tale to you, there is a lesson to learn out of it. Once when the good Saint Peter lived in the world below, when Saint Peter used to be there, he was traveling world. Good Saint Peter is not the ordinary Saint Peter, he is good Saint Peter, lived in the world below and walked about it. And when he was traveling, preaching just as he did, now when the saints they travel, the purpose is to spread love, peace, and harmony. The message is to spread love, peace, and harmony, irrespective of any religion, irrespective of any caste. And these are known as the God messengers. They are the messengers of God. How many of you know? I don't know, but there was a Saint Muhammad. He traveled the world in order to spread his religion and also spread the message of love, peace, and harmony, that there should prevail love, peace, and harmony amongst each other. We shouldn't hate each other, right? We should spread love, peace, and harmony. Okay? So there have been messengers almost of all the religions who traveled the world when the religion began. The first purpose was to spread the religion. See, this religion didn't come in context all of a sudden. There were messengers, there were leaders of so and so religion whose purpose was to spread the religion worldwide. You see, there are certain religions which exist worldwide, right? Like, say, for example, one of them is Christianity. You'll also find Christians in India. You'll also find Christians in European and the English countries, right? You'll find Hindu everywhere in the world. You'll find Indians everywhere in the world. So how do you think these people came to know about this religion? There were messengers. Okay, the followers of Jesus Christ were known as Jesuits. You know that? The followers, the 9 followers Jesus Christ had, and they were known as the Jesuits. Jesuits basically were the people who followed the path of Jesus Christ and spread the message of Christianity all over the world, being a sender from Jesus Christ himself. It is said like that. Okay, whether it is Holy Quran, Holy Bhagavad Gita, okay, Holy Bible, whichever religious text, okay, you will at least find that one messenger who roamed around the world just to spread the religion and to spread the message of love, peace, and harmony. Yes, now the religion has different definition, because now it's a separate debatable topic, right? These days, I don't think so. I need to tell you, you know that very well, right? Because we have few of the religious guru who would address themselves as the God men, right? But I'm not talking about them, but I'm talking about the early ages saints who are so genuine in their own, way. Okay. So yes, of course, Saint Peter was also one of those. Lived in a world below and walked about it, preaching just as he did, So his ultimate purpose, even though he traveled the world, he had a specific purpose. He was preaching. He was preaching the name of God. Okay. So that people can know that there is also a God called like this. Okay. He came to the door of a cottage. So while he was wandering, he came to a door of a cottage. In traveling around the world, पूरा अर्थ घूमते घूमते वो थक गए थे, तो एक कॉटेज के दरवाजे के पास आके वे रुक गए. Where a little woman was making cakes, जहां पे उसने देखा कि एक औरत जो थी, there was this lady who was baking cakes and baking them on the hearth. Hearth is a place where the cakes are, baked properly. So she was found baking cake at the hearth. And Saint Peter, good Saint Peter, watched this and being faint with fasting. See, he was also traveling the world and he was also fasting, right? So of course, he was fainting. आप देखना कि कभी भी आप उपवास करते हो ना, तो आपको है ना थोड़ा वो एनर्जी लो फील होता है, ठीक है ना? क्योंकि आपका रेगुलर इनटेक जो है फूड का वो होता नहीं है उस दिन, ठीक है? or we either feel weak in energy, or probably we feel that there is something wrong today, right? So Saint Peter, he was traveling the world and he was fasting, so he was fainting a little. Fainting, right? उनको चक्कर जैसा आ रहा था. He was fainting a little. For the day was almost done. Entire day was done. He asked her from her store of cakes. तो उन्होंने उस लेडी को रिक्वेस्ट की कि आपके पास जो ये केक्स पड़ी है उसमें से मुझे थोड़ी मिल सकती है, मुझे भूख लगी है. To give him a single one, एक ही केक चाहिए थी, ज्यादा नहीं चाहिए. कई दफा many times we are told by our elders, the God can come in any of the forms and he may ask for help.
Yes, sir.
For help, see,
Yes, sir.
he will test you to what extent you are ready to help them. And trust me, these are very crucial times, guys. Understand this, and 9 out of 10 times we fail, and trust me, then we regret like anything. So and when a stranger comes to your house with an unexpected help, I think you have to take a call and you have to help according to your own convenience. अपने से बने उतना हम help करने चाहिए, ऐसा मैं मानता हूँ, ठीक है? Because if your education doesn't teach you to how to be polite with others, or how to treat others nicely, then your education is useless. Because when you are appearing for the exams, I think this kind of knowledge will never be taught to you in the books. How to deal with people, how to treat them politely, how to listen when a person is angry. Because when someone is angry on us, we react immediately. It's like Newton's third law of motion. Every action has equal reaction, right? So we react immediately. And it is observed that when two people are quarreling, one has to remain quiet. And when you remain quiet, it's not your loss, guys. Understand, we are always mistook by this. We feel that if we will remain quiet, then he will dominate. Why should I remain quiet? I'm right. See, if you are right, you need not to prove anyone right. See, understand the logic. If you are right, you don't have to prove yourself, right? See, always the wrong ones have to prove themselves. See, in the race of dogs, when you make a cheetah sit, he will still sit. He doesn't have to prove that he's the fastest animal on this earth. He knows it. See, in the race of dogs, when 5 dogs are, standing in a line and they're about to run on one clap, and if you make cheetah sit there, he will still be found sitting. Because he knows that he doesn't have to prove amongst his dogs that he is the fastest animal on this earth. Okay, the same is like truth. When you are right, you don't have to prove yourself. Let people know at the right time, right? But see, we don't have patience. And I also consider myself, at this place that, it is very good in speaking. But when it comes to, actually implementing it, it definitely checks our patience. But then, your education definitely teaches you to be polite and humble to the people around you. Okay, and if you have not learned it, you still have your academic years. Learn it. Because no book in this world will ever teach you the job of humanity. Okay? Yes, so when this saint was almost fainting with fasting, when he reached to the cottage door, there he saw this lady making the cakes in her. So he asked her if he could have that one cake from her storage. Let us see what happened next. We have to turn the page. We are on page number 66. So she made a very little cake. अब देखो, है ना, इस भले ही इतनी सारी केक्स पड़ी हो उसके वहां पे, लेकिन उसका दिल बहुत छोटा था. उसने नया तो बनाया, लेकिन ये छोटा सा छोटा पीस बनाया. टेंट कोई देनी है ना, थोड़ी भली वाली देंगे, अच्छी वाली थोड़ी देते उनको. अपने आप के देखना कि आप घर पे है ना, आप भले ही मानते हो कि सर मैं तो मेरे कपड़े है ना, जब मेरे को नहीं होते ना तब मैं मेरे काम वाले को दे देता हूँ. बट यू सी यू आर नॉट डूइंग अ गुड जॉब एनीवे, राइट? आप नहीं पहन रहे हो इसलिए आपने दूसरों को दिया है. इफ यू आर वियरिंग इट, Would you have shared? No. If I ask you that, can you share this clothes to a poor one or needy one? You would deny. Same is the case with me. I would deny. Right? The fact is that if you go to a shop, get a brand new clothes, and then give it to someone. See, that's a good deed. आप अपने उतरे हुए कपड़े किसी को दे रहे हो. And that's not ideally a good job. You may feel that, yes, I have done a very precious job in this world. I don't tear my clothes. I give it to needy ones. Do you really think it's a good job? आपका जो वेस्ट है वो आप किसी का बेस्ट बना रहे हो. क्योंकि उसके लिए तो पहली बार ही है ना. ठीक है, आपके लिए कई दफा हो गया है और आप कंटाल चुके हो. नहीं पहनना है मुझे ये. कितनी बार पहना हो गया मुझे. किसको दे दो. See, when you hand it over to your housemates, for their kids, it's not a good job that you are doing. The real deed is that when you go to the store, buy a brand new and give them without saying a single word. Yeah, then this is yours, take it. Don't need to speak any good things, okay? See, this is a brand new clothes, I'm giving it to you. अगली बार पोछा अच्छा लगाना, ठीक है? Say, you don't say like this, right? Because you are asking for something in return of giving, right? Right? You don't make them feel embarrassed. They are already under your obligations. Already आपके अच्छे बोझ पहले दब चुके हैं, ठीक है ना? उनको ज्यादा मत करो, ठीक है? ये हाँ, रेगुलर बोल रहे कि देखो थोड़ा यहाँ पे ध्यान रखना, ठीक है ना? कचरा होता है, बस let them do their job. They know better than you, ठीक है? आपके साथ साथ और 10 घर का भी काम करते हैं वो लोग, so they know better than you, right? But yes, so when you are doing something good for people, don't keep on telling people that you have done something good for them. That is also a noble thing, हमारा क्या होता है कि अपने में कहते हैं, proverb है कि when you give something from right hand, your left hand shouldn't know about this. See, that's where it is worth. You keep on telling everyone that, what, yesterday I gifted brand new pair of clothes to my maid. And you tell 10 people this. And that cost of clothing might have been only 400. If you would have given it around, $1,500 and you say maybe worth. But please, if you're doing something good for people, don't tell people that you have done something good for them. Let them realize, and it's okay. Your deeds are counted still. Okay? So yes, take care. I don't think so any book of education will teach you this. Okay, so please listen to this kind of thing carefully. Try to implement at least one out of this. Not everything, but at least one thing also if you will implement, trust me, will have that joy, that inner joy. And the kind of joy that you will have, you will keep on smiling. And your parents are like, why are you laughing unnecessarily? That kind of joy, when you think about something, and when you all, has it ever happened to you? You remember something and automatically you start laughing.
Yes.
And your parents and your, siblings are wondering what the hell is wrong with him or her. Everything all right? No. In that way we speak, right? So that amount of joy you will get. The joy of giving, we say, okay? So this lady, called old lady, she baked a very little cake. But as it baking lay, जैसे वो बन रही थी cake, she looked at it. हे भगवान, ये तो कुछ ज्यादा ही बड़ी केक बन गई. Yes, it was too large to give away. इतनी बड़ी केक थोड़ी दे सकते हैं, हाँ? और थोड़ी दे रहा है, हाँ? ठीक है? Therefore, she needed another one. तो इसने क्या की, फिर दूसरा बनाना उसने शुरू किया, ठीक है ना? And still a smaller one. इस बार फिर से वो छोटा उसने बनाया. But it looked when she turned it over. लेकिन जैसे ही उसने earth में डाला, and when she looked, it ended up becoming like just the earlier one. It ended up becoming a bigger one, right? And it looked when she turned it over as large as the first had done. Then she took a tiny scrap of duff. Duff એટલે પેલો લોટ લઈએ ને આપણે રોટી બનાने के लिए वो आटा गूंथते हैं, ठीक है ना. So she took the tiny scrap of duff and rolled it flat. बने उतना पतला किया, ठीक है ना. इस बार तो मोटा होना नहीं
टूट
चाहिए.
नहीं गया सर?
अब वो तो उसकी कैरेक्टरिस्टिक हुए ना, वो तो केक बनाने के बिजनेस में. अपने जैसा नहीं होता कि साल में एक बार केक बनाए और वो भी घटिया बने, है ना. How many of you have tried making cake at least once and you failed? Trust me, and it's okay to accept that you failed.
Sir, I have made, but I was not failed that time.
But then anyway, you know, अगर आप पहली बार चीज ट्राई कर रहे हो और उसमें आप फेल नहीं हो रहे हो तो क्या खाक सक्सेस आप टेस्ट करोगे, है ना. Imagine if you succeed at first in making anything, you won't have that joy. See, if you fail, बना वो फाफड़े जैसा लग ही नहीं रहा है, तो गांठिया जैसा लगा. बनाने गए थे फाफड़ा और बन गया गांठिया. So you know, and you know when you try to serve your family, आज फाफड़े की जगह पे गांठिया मिलेगा. So and then you know next you make and you end up making fafda and it becomes fafda. You are joyful, you know. You now have tasted the success, right? So it happens.
Sir,
Yeah.
sir, this success happiness is from Maggie. Why? Because a non chef or someone who is making Maggie for first time, when he succeeds, then that joy, like, yes, I am a chef.
See, I think everyone knows how to make Maggie by now, right? And trust me, it doesn't take 2 minutes. It always takes more than 2 minutes, okay?
2 minutes, yes sir.
You know, shoot those people who say that you can make Maggie in 2 minutes. Maggie can never be made in 2 minutes, ठीक है? 2 मिनट तो पानी को उबालने में ही चला जाता है.
2 मिनट नहीं सर, 10
2
मिनट
मिनट में चाय भी नहीं बनती सर.
ठीक है, ये तो मैं एडवांस स्टोव की बात कर रहा हूँ कि अगर स्टोव एडवांस है तो शायद 2 मिनट में भी पानी उबल जाए, ठीक है, लेकिन ऐसा होता नहीं है, ठीक है.
सर वो लोग माइक्रोवेव में बनाते होंगे इसलिए बन जाते होगी 2 मिनट में.
हाँ, अब एडवर्टाइजमेंट में तो दिखाना है ना कि 2 मिनट में बन जाती है. देन यू से दैट मेरी मनाली वाली मैगी, मेरी जाम्बू घोड़ा वाली मैगी, मेरी कजिन्स वाली मैगी, you know, this kind of advertisements then you have. But anyways, they might have any purpose behind, you know, having this kind of advertisement. But then here we come to know that she made another duff and she rolled it flat and baked it thin as a wafer. It went on to become so thin that it ideally looked like a wafer. But she couldn't part with that. लेकिन इसमें इसका मन नहीं हुआ कि ये मुझे शेयर करना चाहिए. You know, in Gujarati we say कि टूंका जीवनो जीव टूंको है. मतलब you cannot share it easily, you know. मतलब मैं क्यों शेयर करूं? आप देखना स्कूल में भी अगर आप टेक्स्ट बुक भूल गए हो ना, तो आप किसी इंसान के बाजू में बैठे हो ना, उसका मन कभी नहीं होगा कि आपके साथ टेक्स्ट बुक शेयर करें. क्यों? पतली हो जाएगी थी टेक्स्ट बुक. See, we all have that at least, you know, one person in the class who is never ready to share anything. ठीक है, और भूल से अगर वो अच्छा नाश्ता लेके आया ना तो छुपते छुपाते खाएगा स्कूल में, अगर कोई देख गया शेयरिंग की हुआ. और अपना का काम क्या होता है कि कहीं पे अच्छा नाश्ता दिखा नहीं कि टूट पड़ता. मेरा ऐसा होता था, ठीक है ना, अपना नाश्ते का डब्बा लास्ट में खोलने, जब सबका पेट भर जाए ना, कि बाद में क्या होता है कि एवरीवन टेस्ट फाइन. Now then you see, your entire 75% of lunchbox belongs to you. You will have only 25% of share. So not only you will enjoy other people's lunchbox, but also you will share your 75% of lunchbox with your own self, and that again gives joy, right? It's a trick. You can use it in your life also. Okay. अरे भुक्खड़ प्रजाति हमारे. भुक्खड़ प्रजा मतलब पीजी वाले, यू अंडरस्टैंड, पीजी पीपल पेइंग गेस्ट पे रहते हैं ना सब फ्रेंड्स, तो उनको तो घर का तो खाना तो मतलब मरते हैं. सो आई मीन जब मैं आई वाज स्टडीइंग, यू नो, माय प्रोफेशनल डिग्री, तो आई हैड अराउंड 4 to 5 पीजी फ्रेंड्स, और हफ्ते में 7 दिन में से 4 दिन वो रात का खाना घर पे, ठीक है. एंड आई नेवर कंप्लेन बिकॉज अब फ्रेंड्स है यार, ठीक है, ऐसे टाइम पे काम नहीं आएंगे तो हम कब काम आएंगे, यू नो। नाउ दे आर इधर सेटल्ड इन हैदराबाद, कोलकाता, बॉम्बे, ठीक है, चेन्नई. So now if I want to go there, they are my hospitality. If I'm traveling to either Bangalore or either Hyderabad or Chennai, I don't have to worry about any hotel that I have to board. I know I have these people's house there and I'm going to stay there. And they can afford me for minimum 6 days. Because अपने handle किया है उन लोगों को यहाँ पे, ठीक है ना? So see, you are securing your future in the past. आप उनको अभी खाना खिला रहे हो कि वो आपको बाद में खिलाएंगे, है ना? But you will also have this kind of time in your life. Just wait for 3-4 more years and you too are going to get this kind of.
Sir, you are not audible.
And sir, your screen is also freezed. Sir, her voice is lagging.
Is it?
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me now, beta?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, is it? Okay, chalo, very good. So for she said, my cakes that seem too small when I eat of them myself are yet too large to give away. She says कि जब मैं मेरे लिए खाने के लिए बनाती हूँ, ठीक है, तो बहुत ही छोटी केक बनती है, लेकिन जब मुझे वही केक किसी और को देनी होती है तो वो केक बड़ी हो जाती है, ठीक है ना? She gives this kind of excuse. So she put them on the shelf. इसलिए उसने बनाई तो पीटर को देने के लिए, सेंट पीटर को, लेकिन वो पहले उसने शेल्फ में रख दी. Now you see, you know, when you are giving something to someone and somewhere in the middle of the process you take it back, and that's not a good sign. So of course, you know, looking to this kind of act, you know, making it 3 times, you know, the duffing and making it, and still not ready to part away with, you know, her food. So of course it was but obvious that Saint Peter was going to get angry. Then good Saint Peter grew angry, for he was hungry and fainting, because he needed food as early as possible, because there were 2 things. First of all, he was hungry, and second, he was fainting. A fainting person requires to eat food as early as possible, okay, because then it will be too late. He might get unconscious because of the fainting thing. The more he decided to get it as early as possible, the more it was getting late, okay? Yeah. And surely such a woman was enough to provoke a saint. Agar of course, you know, गुस्सा क्यों नहीं आएगा? अगर ऐसी लेडी होगी तो कोई भी सेंट होगा उसको गुस्सा आएगा. And he said, you are far too selfish. तुम बहुत ही selfish हो, ठीक है? तुम इतनी selfish हो कि तुम्हें as a human birth लेना ही नहीं चाहिए था, ठीक है? To have both food and shelter. You are so selfish that you are not ready to even share your food and not even ready to share your shelter and fire to keep you warm. You don't even deserve that the fire should warm you up. You are that kind of human, that you are good for nothing. You don't serve the purpose of being a human. You don't serve the purpose of humanity. Right? Now you shall build as the birds do. अभी मैं तुम्हें ऐसा श्राप देता हूं कि तुम अपना घर एक चिड़िया जैसा अपना घर बनाती है. In the same way you are also going to build your nest and shall get your scanty food. और हमेशा तुम्हें खाने के लिए तड़पना पड़ेगा. By boring and boring and boring. ठीक है, जितना तुम घूमोगी ज्यादा फूड के लिए उतना ही कम तुम्हें फूड मिलेगा. All day in the hard dry wood. और पूरे दिन तुम्हें hard dry wood में रहना पड़ेगा, and you'll have to keep on looking for food every now and then. Then up she went through the chimney. और होना क्या था, यहाँ पे गुड सेंट पीटर का वर्ड्स फिनिश हुआ और यहाँ पे फटाक करके वो बर्ड बन गई और चिमनी से डायरेक्टली बाहर निकली एज अ बर्ड. नेवर स्पीकिंग अबाउट, उसके बाद वो लेडी ने एक वर्ड भी बोला नहीं. एंड आउट ऑफ द टॉप फ्लू अ वुड पैकर. जैसे ही चिमनी से बाहर निकली वो एक वुड पैकर में कन्वर्ट हो चुकी थी, लकड़ खोद वुड पैकर. You might have seen it, they constantly keep on banging on the bark of the tree. But she was changed to a, but because now the lady was no more a lady, she was converted into a woodpecker. She was converted into a bird. Okay. She had a scarlet cap on her head. एक scarlet होता है ना, फर जैसा होता है उसके हेड पे, जैसा woodpecker को आपने देखा होगा. So she had that on her head, and that was not the same. सिर्फ वो ही अकेला बाकी था उसकी बॉडी पे. But all the rest of her clothes were burnt. और उसके पूरे clothes जैसे जितने भी clothes थे, they were entirely burnt into bits and pieces. Black as a coal in the flame. और कोल में जलने की वजह से उसके कपड़े जल गए थे और पूरे काले हो चुके थे. It was as black as a coal in the flame. And every country schoolboy has seen her in the wood. आप पूरे कंट्री में जितने भी स्कूल जाने वाले बच्चे हैं उन सभी ने इस बर्ड को देखा है वुड में. Where she lives in the trees. आज की डेट में भी वो ट्रीज में रहती है. बोरिंग एंड बोरिंग फॉर फूड. अपने फूड के लिए कॉन्स्टेंटली शी इज लुकिंग फॉर हियर एंड there. Understood? Any doubts, dear students? Any queries? Any stanza that you couldn't understand? See, here it is written in the glossary on the right hand side. Saint Peter was an apostle of Christ. Apostle means one of the messengers of Christ. Out of 9 messengers, he was one of those. I think it was 9 or 6, I don't know the exact number, but Jesus Christ had his main followers. जिनके खुद के भी followers. You see? So this Saint Peter, good Saint Peter, was one of those main followers of Jesus Christ. Okay? And provoke means to make someone angry. Yes. Okay, so now what you have to do is you have to copy this poem in your notebook with neat and clean handwriting right now. Come on, dear students. And you have to show it to me on the screen, online students. Hurry up with neat and clean handwriting, okay? Did you understand our entire poem? Any doubts, any difficulties you have?
Sir, this poem is about the real incident.
That no one knows, right? The poet himself says in the 3rd stanza. देखो, 3rd stanza में वो खुद बोलते हैं, I don't believe it is true, and yet you may learn a lesson if I tell the tale to you. So to what extent this story is true, I don't think so anyone has right to comment about it, neither I nor you. Okay? Chalo, with neat and clean handwriting, we have to start writing this poem. Give today's date and day. Okay? What is today's date? It is 4th of August. You can sit here, no? It's okay. You have notebook with you? All right, dear students, you can start writing the poem in your notebook with neat and clean handwriting. I'll just go and drink water and come back, okay?
Okay, sir.
Aryan, are you writing the poem?
Yes, sir.
What about here? Are you writing, beta?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Completed writing the poem, dear students. How much is left here? 4 stanzas. Stanza. Total, how many stanzas are there? 9 stanzas. What about the online students?
Not completed.
How many stanzas are there?
Not complete.
Fine, then this will be your homework, okay? To complete the stanza and try to practice the question answers, okay? And the next time we will be discussing the summary of this poem. Okay? Yeah?
Sir, how many?
stanza पे.
Sir, how many
Yes.
stanzas are there in total?
Total 9 stanzas are there. 16, 16. 16 stanzas are.
Yes,
Okay.
sir, there are more stanzas.
More stanzas, how many stanzas? चलो बताओ मेरे पास टेक्स्ट बुक नहीं है अभी इसलिए. Rashmi, can you tell me how many stanzas are there? Count and tell me quick.
Sir, I have
16.
16. Okay, yes. So the remaining ones will be your homework. Dia, I think by then you will have your textbook, right, with you? Okay?
Yes, sir.
Chalo, bye.
Bye.
Bye, sir.